And just like that, the biggest domino in the silly season, whatever, has fallen. Daniel Suárez and Trackhouse just announced that Daniel Suárez and the team will be parting ways at the end of the season. And if you can do some math here, it's quite the simple equation that more than likely means that Connor Zilisch is going to be full-time Cup racing next year. So yes, Daniel Suárez, who was Trackhouse's first ever driver, the one and only full-time driver in 2021 when the team started, has been with them for their entire history. They have opted to split. So let's read the statements before we talk about it in more detail. Daniel Suárez wrote this: "A message to my amigos. Trackhouse and I have mutually agreed to part ways at the end of the 2025 season. I've had some of the best years of my Cup Series career at Trackhouse. We had great successes as a team, and I gained some incredible friends. We took a team nobody had even heard of in 2021, and in just a couple of years, we were winning races and running up front on a weekly basis. Just like the seasons in a year, sometimes things change, and we have agreed to each go in our own direction. I wish Trackhouse nothing but the best. This 99 team will always be special to me. And like I always say, the best is ahead." Then Trackhouse released their own statement, and the statement from Justin Marks says, "The role Daniel has played in the Trackhouse origin story in its first 5 years will remain a valued part of the company's history forever. His commitment, work ethic, and dedication to the effort is one of the most impressive things I have personally seen in my career. We will forever be thankful and honored that Daniel chose to spend many incredible years with us. We are proud of his wins, his successes, the growth of his brand, and his emergence as a valuable athlete in America's greatest motorsport. But most of all, I'm proud of him as a friend. I'm truly excited to see what awaits him in the next chapter of his amazing career. We are grateful for the professionalism, effort, and heart he's brought to our organization." And then it just once again shows Daniel Suárez's statement down there. So yes, Daniel Suárez, the whole debacle for the second straight year, Trackhouse had to fit, I think last year they had to fit 4 guys into 3 seats, and then this year, same situation actually. I forgot that they expanded for a second. But for the second straight year, they had to put 4 guys in 3 seats. You already knew Ross Chastain was going to be in one of those seats. So now it came down to Daniel Suárez, SVG, and Connor Zilisch. Now, obviously, we don't know the terms of Zilich and SVG's deal, but we knew Daniel Suárez was on an expiring contract. At the end of 2025, he was no longer under contract with Trackhouse. Now, there was still that element that he was their first driver. He's won a race for them in 2 of their 4 seasons in the next-gen era, and, this season is still ongoing. So if Trackhouse truly wanted to promote Zilich next year, then it might come down to SVG versus Suárez. But if SVG's contract goes through 2028 or something and they don't want to buy it out, they want to keep him in, or they just want to continue to develop Shane Van Gisbergen on the ovals and whatnot, and SVG's done his job outside of that because he's won a road course to get into the playoffs. So now the internal battle at Trackhouse narrowed down to Connor Zilisch and Daniel Suárez. Suárez had a strong start to the year, a decent start, ran runner-up at Las Vegas, had some other top 10 runs, or was running in the top 10 a couple of times before ultimately getting taken out, like at Phoenix, for example. But since then, it's not been pretty. Currently, he's 29th in the points. He's only 31 points ahead of Shane Van Gisbergen, who had an abysmal start to 2025. It's been a rough year. And last year, he had the Atlanta win, got himself into the playoffs. That was a huge deal, especially to win so early in the year, get that contract extension right off the bat. Outside of that, though, once again, they struggled. The 99 team, Daniel Suárez, they were inconsistent, whereas yes, Trackhouse as a whole has been a little bit more inconsistent since that first next-gen year in 2022 when both cars made the playoffs. Suárez was a power steering issue away from making the round of 8. Ross Chastain was a position away from winning the championship. They're nowhere near that height, but still, Chastain has consistently been a contender. He's won races I think every year, did he win a race? He did win a race last year at Kansas in the playoffs. So Chastain has won a race every year he's been at Trackhouse, and Chastain, I think, is far and away the best driver at Trackhouse right now. But still, when you look at the last couple of years for Daniel Suárez at Trackhouse, it's had its high moments, like the Atlanta win. But it's had some really rough moments too. And ultimately, I think at the end of the day, they made a business decision because Daniel Suárez is a solid driver. He's a multi-time Cup Series winner. He's driven for a bunch of teams. He's a veteran. He's been a crucial part of Trackhouse as an organization. But you got to look at what's behind him. Connor Zilisch. Connor Zilisch is the hottest prospect in NASCAR right now, and Trackhouse has him under contract. And yes, things can happen. If Connor Zilisch wants to go Cup racing next year, regardless if it's with Trackhouse or someone else, Connor Zilisch is going to go Cup racing next year. Now, obviously, I don't know if that was the actual case, but Connor Zilisch has been killing it in the Xfinity Series. And I know that the Cup Series level is a completely different ball game than the Xfinity Series, but Zilich has been tearing it up. He's got 4 or 5 straight top 5 since he came back from his injury after Talladega. He's won an oval race now at Pocono. Obviously, we know how good he is at the road courses. A couple of weeks ago, when they announced that he was running more Cup races, they announced Atlanta and Watkins Glen at the time, I compared it to last year. Remember last year, right before they announced Shane Van Gisbergen would be full-time, they announced that he was going to do some more Cup races on his schedule. Well, it looks like there was some intention to put more Cup races on Connor Zilich's schedule. Now, what's next for Daniel Suárez? It's a fantastic question because we're early in silly season. There haven't been any big signings or anything or big switches. That usually happens later July into August, but honestly, looking at the field right now, there's really not a lot open for 2026. There might be some expiring contracts that we don't know about, but some of them are like Denny Hamlin. His contract expires, but he's not going to leave Joe Gibbs Racing unless there's a funding issue. And in that case, I don't think Joe Gibbs Racing would bring back Daniel Suárez. Could he go to another Chevrolet team? Like, would Colleague potentially get that second seat, the 10 car maybe for him? I doubt it. I don't think so. Maybe it's possible. I don't know. Spire's taken up. Hendrick's obviously taken up. But if we look at the other mid-pack teams, there's really not any seats right now for Daniel Suárez that I know of. So it's kind of a bad year to not have a contract for 2026 because there's not that much open. But of course, there's also the route of Daniel Suárez could do what John Hunter Nemechek did, which is he could go back to Xfinity, trucks, whatever it may be, run in a top-tier car, win a bunch of races, kind of rise his stock once again, and then wait to get promoted to another solid Cup Series team. Now, will that happen? I don't know. That now that Connor Zilisch is likely going to be in that number, well, I'm assuming they're going to keep that the 99 car. Maybe they just keep it the 87 for branding's sake for Zilich. I don't know. But the point being that 88 car is going to be available in Xfinity, and we know how good the Junior Motorsports cars are in Xfinity. So that's going to be a highly coveted seat. So in conclusion, at the end of the day, it was down to Daniel Suárez and Connor Zilisch. And theoretically, they could have ran back this lineup next year of Chastain, SVG, Suárez, given Zilich another year to develop. You know, there is always that fear. If they pull Zilich up too quickly and he's not ready, well, then what? Look what you've done. I don't know if that'll be the case. I don't know. It could go fantastic. It could be they rushed him. I don't know. There's a lot of questions around it. But at the end of the day, Trackhouse just probably felt like they had to promote him now. He's been doing really well in the Xfinity Series on the ovals. We know how good he is at the road courses. So ultimately, I think it's just a business decision. Daniel Suárez has been a critical part of the Trackhouse team ever since its birth in 2021. Or 2020, I guess, was when it was announced technically. But he's been a huge part of that team. He got a couple of Cup Series wins for them. He's made history with them. He's done so much with that team that he'll be celebrated by Trackhouse. Their time together was fantastic, but ultimately it does come to an end. The future of Trackhouse seems pretty straightforward now. Connor Zilisch, they're contracted driver, hottest prospect in NASCAR. The 18-year-old right now looks like he's going to get a full-time Cup Series seat as a 19-year-old, which is just crazy to think about. I'd be shocked if it was someone else, but Trackhouse has solved their dilemma for the second straight year. 4 drivers into 3 seats. They have made their decision. So let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Crazy times in NASCAR. But yeah, thanks for watching this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Any other silly season updates, I will let you know. And we got Chicago this weekend, so that should be fun.